Hey guys, what's up? It's Allison, and today I have a little bit of a different video for you guys. This is going to be my fall / spooky season recommendations. I have a lot of material to cover in this video. Literally, here's one stack. And here's the other stack. So I guess a lot of these books are either spooky or they are kind of giving me the fall vibes. So anyways, we're gonna get started. Some of these are series if you guys are looking for that, and I also have some standalones if you guys are looking for those as well. So let's get into it. I have never talked about these books on this channel. I think I talked about like one of them one time, but these are books by Natasha Preston, and this is kind of before I started reading like a lot, but I would read her books. Any of these can be standalones, and she has a lot of them, but usually they give off kind of like a creepy, mysterious vibe, and you never know if the book is going to end happy or end bad, because some of them end happy and then some of them end not so happy. It's very good for like the October season before Halloween. All of these books are different completely as to like what they're about. So I'm just going to really quickly like read them off and maybe give a little gist of what they're about. I would say that these books are like all probably like 4-ish stars for me, and there's a lot of them. So if you like one, there's like a bunch more for you to read. So there is The Twin by Natasha Preston, Awake by Natasha Preston, which I think this is like kind of like a cultish book. Again, it's been a while since I've read any of these. You Will Be Mine by Natasha Preston, which is about like, I think some college kids and murder mystery. The Settler by Natasha Preston, which is one of her first ones. The Fear by Natasha Preston. The Lost by Natasha Preston. Lake. And The Cabin. So they all kind of look the same as far as covers go, but they really range in like a variety of topics on what she's talking about. And I'm pretty sure she comes out with like a new one almost every year. So she's a good author and she's got a lot of material. So that's that. Okay, next we'll go through a couple series. The first series we have is the Inheritance Game series. And I just finished this last one, The Final Gambit, last month. This is like a 4 to 5 star series for me. It basically follows Avery Grams, I think is her name, and she gets inherited with this big amount of money, and she gets inherited the Hawthorne house by Tobias Hawthorne, which is an old guy that basically put her in his will. And along with that, as she has to move into the Hawthorne house, he has 4 grandsons that are also Hawthorne, so there's a little bit of love interest with that. And basically it's just kind of finding out the mystery of why she's been inherited this money, and there's so many more mysteries that wrap up as you get into the series. There's more and more questions. But I think this is just a good fall read just because like it's secret passageways and a bunch of mysteries, a bunch of riddles to solve, and it's just a good like cozy book, I guess. The next series I have is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, and this comes with Good Girl, Bad Blood, and As Good as Dead, and that is a 3-book series. It's by Holly Jackson, and I'm pretty sure I gave these books 4 to 4.5 stars. Basically follows a girl named Pip, and she's investigating a case of Andy Bell, I think is her name, and she got murdered by supposedly her boyfriend, but then he ended up dead, so it's a big huge thing. That's what the first book's about, and it kind of just goes along there. She's got more mysteries to solve in the next books, and it's a YA mystery, so it's not too like scary or anything like that, but I mean, you never know what's going to happen in the book, and there's a lot of twists and turns, and it's like a murder mystery, obviously, so I think it's perfect for the spooky season. And then, speaking of spooky, we have a couple books by Riley Sager. These are the two that I've read. I have a lot more on my list. But this is The House Across the Lake and Lock Every Door. And I think I gave this one a 4 stars and I gave this one a 4.5. But honestly, this one's kind of like a 5 to me. Lock Every Door is about a girl who is basically paid to be a temporary tenant in a apartment complex, and she notices that things are going a little weird, and she sees that one of the other temporary tenants that she's befriended goes missing, and it's just kind of a mystery with that. It's nothing too scary. It's kind of more of a mystery element. Like, the cover looks a lot scarier than it actually is. But my favorite one by Riley Sager so far is The House Across the Lake, which honestly, I had no idea that it was going to take a turn the way it did in this book. And I think that it's very hard to guess what was going to happen in this book. This follows, I can't remember her name, Casey, and she has been recently widowed. I believe she's like an actress, I think, or an ex-actress. And she kind of goes to this little lake house that she has, and she's been staying there. She notices some things are getting a little weird, and this woman goes missing, and so she's been looking at her husband, the woman that went missing's husband, from across the lake with her binoculars, and been seeing some weird stuff going on. So she thinks he has something to do with it, and that's really all I'm gonna say, because it just is like mind-boggling, and I really, really enjoyed it. And I'm definitely gonna be reading more from her. I literally have one sitting on my shelf right now, so I don't know. This is a great book though. I highly recommend this one. And then we have some more standalone. So this is The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides, maybe. This follows Alicia Brenson, which she basically killed her husband and she has not said a word since. And it follows her and a psychotherapist named Theo, and he is kind of trying to figure out why she hasn't talked, what her motive behind the killing was, and all of that. It jumps timelines, and this has a great twist that I didn't see coming, and a lot of people love this book, and it's very perfect. It's like that eerie feeling and kind of that little spooky, on edge feeling that you want for like October. So we have a couple more spooky books. So this isn't really spooky, honestly. It's just a murder mystery, like a whodunit type of situation. I think I gave this one 4. It wasn't like the best, but it's like still a good read and a page turner. Like, you don't know what's gonna happen. Basically, somebody dies in this book, and you don't really figure out who dies until the end, because it's an alternating timeline between before the wedding and after the wedding, when somebody has gotten killed, and you were trying to figure out from the wedding party who is the killer, and they all have different motives for why they would have killed this person. And so you kind of just have to figure, like, or trying to figure out, like, along the book, who is most likely to have done this. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I gave this a 4 stars. I think I already said that. And she's got a couple other books, so I'd check that one out. And then we have Verity by Colleen Hoover. This is the first Colleen Hoover book I read, and I'm pretty sure I gave it like a 4.5. It's a very good book, or I give it a 5. And everybody loves this book, honestly, and it's super twisted and dark. It's not as lighthearted as the other ones. Well, none of them are lighthearted, but this kind of goes more into depth. And it's about a woman named Lowen, and she's a struggling writer. She is having kind of some financial issues, so she takes up this offer to finish Verity Crawford's book, because Verity has gotten into a very bad accident and she needs somebody to finish the rest of her series for her. So she's working with Verity's husband to kind of like research her past books and thinkings so that she can continue and finish the series for Verity. And she notices a lot of things going on in Verity's house as she is staying there. to research her books. And it's kind of got a romance in there. And it kind of leaves off on like a what do you think happened type of deal. So it's different in that element. Again, just another like eerie kind of what's going on type of vibe. The next book that's kind of different is If We Were Villains by Emma Rio. I'm going to tell you guys that I didn't give this one a very high rating, and maybe that's just me, like everybody's different, but this is a dark academia, also a whodunit type of like murder thing. They're all going to school, there's 7 of them, and they're all going to a performing arts school. So there's a lot of Shakespearean references in here, which I didn't really understand. But it definitely does give the fall vibes, like the darker, I don't even know how to explain it, but it definitely gives the fall vibes. One of them is killed. You're trying to figure out who did it. Their friendships are kind of like falling apart. And it's just basically that. I mean, you don't really know who kills who until the end of the book, obviously. One of them has been convicted of doing it, but you don't know if he's actually the one that's been convicted or actually the one that's done it or not. And yeah, it's different from all of these other books because it's not super just invested in the murder. It's also very character driven and has a lot of Shakespearean references. So that is If We Were Villains. And then the last book that I have for you guys today is Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. That's nice. I gave this one a 4.75, I think. And I just read this last month, but this is a very also good vibe for the fall time, a little spooky read. And she has a lot of other books that I'm really interested in checking out. This is about Mr. and Mrs. Wright, and they are having marital problems, so they decide to go on a trip that they won to Scotland for the weekend, and they stay in this little chapel, and then they notice some things are starting to add up, some things are seeming too coincidental, and you know, the trip becomes more than just like something that they planned for each other. And I did not see the ending coming. I did not see how it tied together coming. And this also was just, you know, it was a very good book. I stayed up so late just trying to finish this book because I had to know what was going on. So that is Rock, Paper, Scissors. And that is about it for my video. I know I had a lot of recommendations and talked a little fast. If you guys have any fall recommendations or what you guys are going to read this fall, please leave them in the comments down below. And if you guys enjoy this and want to see some more content from me, please give this a thumbs up so that I know I'm doing a good job. And I will see you guys all in the next video. Bye!